Hey everybody, it's Jim here, and today we're going to be taking a look at a Telecaster and a Taco. This is a Fender Japan traditional 60s Telecaster in California blue with Lindy Fralin vintage hot pickups in it. And this is the Friedman version 2 of the Pink Taco amplifier with the matching 1x12 extension cabinet. I'm not going to be doing a full-on demo of this thing. If you're familiar at all with Friedman amplification and specifically of the Pink Taco, you would know this thing is capable of scorching gain. We're talking way more than I would ever use. However, it's often labeled as a one-trick pony, and today I'm going to test that very notion. We're going to be seeing how this thing does in a little bit of a lower gain environment thing. You know, I kind of like to see how things operate in that manner, especially with the Telecaster. We will be dialing it up, and we're going to be seeing how the features of this amp really interact with a single coil guitar. Now, the Pink Taco version 2 really isn't all that different from the original version as far as what you're going to see on the front of the actual panel. You do have on-off switch, no standby in the back. You have bass, mids, treble, master volume, and a gain. Then underneath that, you have your 3 mini toggle switches. Those are going to control saturation, which is going to really introduce a bit more gain once you're already playing at a higher gain, and it's just kind of pushing you over the edge there. Then you have the S switch, which is going to be the voicing, changing the characteristics of the amplifier. And finally, what I'm very interested in, especially with this guitar and single coil guitars in general, is the fat switch to really kind of beef up an instrument that does not have humbucker pickups. And on the back of the amp, you do have an effects loop as well as a wide selection of speaker hookups. So really, it's a pretty straightforward amplifier, and I don't really have to sit here and talk too much more about it. I'd like to get into some sound samples. We will be miking this thing up with the SM57. I'm going to be trying it in a variety of different settings with different voicings on it, with the fat switch on, with the fat switch off. You'll see it on the screen, a little note underneath, kind of giving you where it's at if the camera won't zoom in all the way to give a clear view of it, as well as I did pick out a few sounds I did happen to really enjoy with this guitar. We're going to be highlighting that. Maybe if we have time at the end, I will do a little bit of higher gain stuff with a different guitar, because this amp really does bring a smile to your face when you are playing it with loads and loads of gain. However, let's get started. Now, one thing that's really important to me when we're talking about guitars and amplifiers, I very rarely use an amp that has more than one channel on it. So this was right up my alley. But one way I like to test whether or not I'm really going to like an amplifier or not is to manipulate the volume on the guitar itself. If I can roll off the volume a little bit and get a really good clean tone out of it, even if it is a little bit pushed, then I am way ahead of where I need to be. And with this amp, I was shocked, honestly. I knew it was going to be really good when it came to higher gain stuff because, I mean, 99% of the people that buy this, you're going to live in that kind of territory. But that being said, when I initially plugged this thing in, the first thing I did was the Les Paul. I had a ton of fun going through the gain. But the second thing I did was plug in this guitar and really see what else it could do. And I was very, very, very surprised. Even my wife commented, that sounds really, really good clean. And for somebody who, like me, maybe in some of the choruses, I do want to have a little bit of that beef and balls to the actual tone of the amplifier, having the ability to roll off the volume knob on this guitar, get an awesome clean tone, put it up for the chorus, and it's still just like punching you right in the chest. I love it. Now, before we get going, there's one thing that I would like to revisit that I mentioned at the beginning of this video. This amp has a stereotype of being a one-trick pony with a lot of players and potential buyers. I definitely don't believe that's the case whatsoever, having spent some time with it. I actually didn't want to do the demo of this the day that I got it, or even the second or third day. I've had this for about a week now, and I really wanted to give it as honest of an assessment as I could with one specific guitar. I didn't use a ton of guitars with it. I just really wanted to get a feel for how the Tele was going to do with the Pink Taco. And I can confidently say, if you're somebody who wants to live on the edge of breakup, say you wanted to play 60s rock, classic rock in general, 70s rock, or anything like that, and still be able to get a really good clean tone at a very, very decent level. That's another thing that's really important here. Yeah, is this going to sound as clean as perhaps the Tone King? Maybe not. Maybe it's not going to get the same kind of vibe, but we're talking about different tubes, different circuits, different speakers. However, the volume that you're going to be able to achieve with something like this, and also the flexibility of having the effects loop on top of that. I mean, two totally different beasts. I like both a lot. It's just more than what people make it out to be, so to speak. I was very impressed with it, and I can honestly see myself gigging with this and not having any sorts of problems, and that's primarily coming from somebody who plays kind of on the edge of breakup and a lot of funk in the in-between position or middle position, depending on what guitar that I'm playing, and knowing that all I have to do, crank up that tone knob, and I'm getting a real sweet driven sound to it right from the amp. No pedals, no kind of dancing going on. That makes me a very happy camper. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know in the comments down below. Let me know what you think about the Friedman Pink Taco in general. I know that the name is very divisive to some people, but even my wife, she thought it was kind of funny. She got a chuckle out of it. So, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll leave you with a little bit of the Les Paul. But don't forget, you should play your guitar too today. Take it easy.